What is happening, Tony? Welcome to the green room. Please enjoy the new slideshow. All of my own photography, no copyright. Don't steal my photos, people. These are legit, not AI. But welcome, Tony. Welcome to the green room. Enjoy some white bed audio. Enjoy the slideshow as things start rolling here. We'll be ready to go pretty quick. So far, nothing, Tony. Don't worry about it. Still getting things ready behind the scenes. I think we're just about there, though. Double checking all the lights and cameras and sounds are on. Pretty sure you can hopefully hear this white bed audio. You can see this slideshow. We're going to be rolling here real quick. And we'll get into it. This is one I've put on the back burner for a long time, and we'll talk about it because, I don't know. I want some opinions on it, basically, is what I'm getting at. Okay, here we go. Getting everything ready for reels. We'll see you right after this, you guys.
Dog. Cat. Mouse. Turtle.
I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Welcome to the show. My name is Dave. It's Flamingo Friday. That means it's time for a show. That being said, Ryan Maxwell still reigning supreme because I have yet to get up the whatever it is to do another round of trivia, but whatever. To my right and off camera, my co-host and producer, Krista's over there.
Hi.
So, it's Friday. We're going to do some true crime stuff. Now, this is going to be, to just unpack a little bit, a lot of moving parts because the sound is going to be terrible as usual.
Perfect.
But there's a sort of good reason because what we're watching is like the interrogation footage of Justin Ross Harris being played in a courtroom, being recorded by a camera. So sometimes we'll see the footage, sometimes we'll cut to Justin in the courtroom stroking his face or being a weirdo. So it's going to be kind of dicey, and bear with me. It's pretty understandable though. So also, just to unpack it, if you're unfamiliar with the case of Justin Ross Harris here.
Yeah, his name sounds familiar, but I have no idea.
So it's one of those ones where everybody's got something to hide, and Justin was one of those people. And so when you have to look up his details. I was going to preload those. Let me maybe see if I can find them really quick, because the long and the short of it is he left his son in the back of the car all day. Like his story in his SUV. So his story is he strapped the kid in. They go to Chick-fil-A for breakfast. He would usually drive him to daycare. This time didn't. Left him in the back of the car. But here's where the story gets interesting. Like right around lunchtime, he leaves with somebody else. So plausible deniability. But they stop it because he works at Home Depot in the finance or whatever. I don't know what he does.
Yeah.
But not in an actual warehouse, the store of the products. So he has to stop and get light bulbs. So he has to go back to his SUV to throw that bag of light bulbs into his SUV and still does not see his son in there. Plausible? Probably not. So anyway, 2014, back in Georgia, not back in Georgia, back east. I believe, let's see, I want to say it was guilty, but whatever.
Yeah, he's in jail.
Found guilty, malice murder. Because here's the thing. Nobody with a kid would do this, I just can't see that happening. Median type people, obviously watching true crime, it happens all the time, but it's usually to meth heads or other, leaving a kid in the car is something that the profoundly stupid or the profoundly inebriated or the extremely checked out do. Because I just watched a case where this 13-year-old with cerebral palsy was put in the back of her mother's car, and their mom left her there for 3 or 4 hours, came and checked on her, left again for another 2, came back out, found the doors mysteriously locked, drove half an hour to get the keys, drove half an hour back, kid's dead in the back of the car.
Oh my God.
She was on meth.
Yeah, there's all this stuff out there that talks about, put something important in your back seat that you won't forget.
Your kid is important. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that
Some
bullshit.
people are like, I'll throw my one shoe back there. And I'm
Here's
like,
the thing.
what?
Unless your kid is
Mute?
which it won't happen, you're going to know they're back there because they're the first thing on your mind. They're the constant obstacle. Wherever you're going, the first thing in your head, mechanically speaking, is how to get the kid in the most comfortable position for travel out of the car.
Right. And
it's literally the first thing on your mind.
I mean, and even since, our son was little, even if he wasn't in the car with me, it was still that habit of looking into his car seat to make sure that he was or wasn't there. Right.
Sometimes I would see a reflection on my way to work and it would look like a little baby head, and I go, what the? Obviously he's not coming to work with me, but it would still, you're constantly aware and have, I shouldn't say you, because maybe you haven't. Obviously, maybe allegedly Justin didn't. But what the fuck?
So he was convicted in 2016 on 3 counts of murder and 2 counts of cruelty to children for the death of his son. And he's 22 months old.
So yeah, it's a horrifying thing. And the only reason we're watching it now, because it's been so long and I've watched it a lot, because I had to build up a resistance to this, because every time I would watch it, it's just heartbreaking. Yeah. Because before I had a kid, it was you get it on a fundamental level, but you don't get it at the core, because you go, I don't have kids, but how great could it be, or how deep, or whatever, Moral of the story is pretty deep, and whatever. This dude's a fucking numbnuts. So he's going to come across as incredibly stupid, but there's only that option.
Yeah. What else are you going to do?
While you guys watch this with us, let me know, do you feel this was like a premeditated thing? Because, here's the sweetener on this, in this sweet tea. They took his phone from him because they got to do that every fucking time. He does this whole game where they go, what's your passcode? He's like, I don't remember it. And he's like, it's biometric. It's biometric. So it needs his fingerprint. And it's like, so they charge it up and they realize, there's a PIN number. Like, no, it takes a PIN. He's like, it's my is it anniversary or somebody's birthday or whatever? And it's like, that makes you look pretty sketchy. And here's the thing. He was running around behind his wife's back with like 5 other women, and one of them being a 15-year-old.
Oh, even better.
So it's pretty fucking crazy. And like that's the thing. If this was intentional, worst plan in the fucking world, because anybody worth their weight in salt is going to realize that the police are going to come in and destroy your life. They're going to rip everything out of you and out of everything around you to make sure that you're not guilty of anything.
Right. And they're going to find everything.
Right. And so like if you've got 5 women or 4 women and a child that you're sexting and exchanging dick pics and stuff with, like why would you intentionally just invite the police in to like open up your phone and be like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Whatever. So let's get into it. He'll tell his story and we'll make stops along the way, but it's a wildly unbelievable story. Now, P.S. He was left in here for like 15 minutes. I cut ahead of that because like he puts on really short bouts of intermittent like, and then like, water and like I can't imagine if my wife or child, like let's take like criminal intent out of it, like just a freak accident, like a meteor kills one or both of them, inconsolable for days. Like the police come in and they got to interview me like, were you involved in this meteor accident? Like I wouldn't get a single word out because like just obviously now it feels a little overblown, but the reality of the situation, when you take it to heart, you go, what the fuck? But then you see Justin here is like living the situation, no thought experiment needed. And he's just like, I'm just so sad. And like, but what's my phone pin? It's biometric.
Before we sit and talk, and I know you've been searched before.
And they search him.
Just use it and stand up. And all I need to do is just going to check. So you doesn't know how this works or you don't need to just stand over here. If you want to turn, just face the wall. How easier it is, put your hands around your head.
P.S. Also, his story when he found Cooper was like he performed CPR, multiple witnesses said no. Like, hello, he tells his wife at the end of all this, he's like, yeah, Cooper, I saw him, his eyes were closed, he was peaceful. No, that kid fucking suffered, and the paramedics found him with his tongue hanging out and his eyeballs bulging from his head because he was cooked alive in a fucking car. God.
Understandable.
So I'm glad they're patting him down, making him feel like shit, is the moral of that story.
Yeah.
I worked for Tuscaloosa Police for 5 years. Did you? I wasn't a police officer. What'd you do? I was dispatch.
It's like less than an hour ago. Found his kid dead in a car. Just like, hey man, you do you.
I used to work dispatch.
How's that going? It's great.
Work for Home Depot. It's great. I love my job. Oh, look at that. Yeah, hey, let's just shoot the shit for a minute. How's your life going, Justin? Oh, fucking great. I make web pages. Oh, you know Jim Roush?
I am. I like chocolate at Stonebridge Church and it's there. Okay, yeah.
All right. Your kid still passed away, though.
He's just grabbing his joint there, like, hey, man, do your thing.
I know you gotta check it for...
Do you check my butthole, too?
Maybe spread his cheeks and lift the sack.
Do you prefer just right? And so start.
Like, I don't want to turn this into like me making fun of Justin constantly, because that's the thing. I don't want to be like, personally attacking him for all of these things, but he's an easy target, and who's going to stop me? But, like, look at him. He's got, like, the Chris Chan polo shirt and, like, the bowl cut from, like, the 7th grade, circa 1994. This is a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
And looking like he's rolling into the 12th grade. Like, sorry, not the 12th grade, the 7th grade. But, like, just this pudgy little idiot. And then just acts like, oh, yeah, well, just plumb forgot. Like, he... just wild... Just bullshit.
We're at Continental's headquarters. You on this place? This is my apartment. Why are you there? I've driven about 1 million times. Okay. It's my partner. Detective Pete Holder. Oh, sorry. And first, you know why we're here. Yeah. Okay. Before we begin, I gotta ask you just some basic questions, okay?
I mean, imagine finding your dog run over in the street and having to take an interview right after that. Like, not even by the police, just like someone who runs a podcast, like sees your, sees your dog get hit and you react to it and they run up and like, hey, what's going on with you? Like, how calm are you going to be in the face of literally anything? Holy crap.
Okay. What's your level of education?
Not very much.
All right, what's your degree in? Management Information Systems. What'd you get? Okay. Are you under the influence of any intoxicants right now? Alcohol, prescription medications? Do you take any prescription medication? Do you have any medical conditions?
Blood pressure?
That require the doctor's care on a regular basis? No. Okay.
How much does your haircut cost? $7? $7.50?
Anything illegal? No. What about the drug, please? We're not here to know. Okay. And English is
We're not the drug, please.
Here's a joke.
You're doing very good.
It's exactly what I would say if, like, I left my son to cook alive all day in the car. If English is my first language, I'm doing pretty good. He may have killed his son, but the dad jokes are still there.
You'd be surprised. I did interview some French people. And very
It's a good addition. You'd be surprised. We did interviews with French people.
Oh.
You can see how engaged Justin is.
Looking at the ceiling.
French people interviews, right? He's like, whoa, like how many taco supremes could I get with the money in my wallet is what the thought bubble appearing in his head here. Just killed his next of kin. Whatever.
Okay. We are at Cal Police Headquarters.
Still.
Before we begin, you don't need any water? No. You just went and used the bathroom.
I did.
Days to 18. And I just want to hear, what happened, during your day. Okay? Before we do that,
I got to read you your rights.
you were in jail before. Okay? I am going to read you your rights. And that protects you, protects me. Absolutely. Okay? Before we ask you any questions.
Absolutely. Let's protect each other.
Yeah.
You have the right to remain
That's what we're here for.
It not only protects me, but it protects the other person.
Okay. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and to have him or her with you during the questioning.
Do that every time. Here's the thing. It'll call every bluff, like every interrogation and its intricacies and its cat and mouse and its back and forths and its, every ounce of the read technique as you build rapport and become aggressive and offer alternatives and yada, yada, yada. All collapses because if they have a warrant on you, you go, oh, I can have a lawyer? Get one. They go, oh. That's the thing. They'll arrest you right there, in which case you made the right decision. You have not spent 2 hours incriminating yourself.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, what? Like,
Wait a minute.
like you're free to go, but we need to blah, blah, blah. But again, it'll be... Because, I would just say, I want a lawyer. And if they go, oh, okay, well, smell you later. If they don't arrest you, then, like,
Right.
Obviously, I don't know if I would hang around if they were like, yeah, you can go. Because I've seen, we've all seen, I'm sure, in the true crime community, our fair share of interrogations were like, well, I want to go. And they go, the door's right there, motherfucker. But they still sit there
and hang out.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I would just, even if, because I guess it'll only collapse half of the way for them, because do have shit on you and you go, lawyer, please, they'll go, all right, stand up and turn around.
Right, we're gonna keep you in holding until we can get a lawyer.
But if you say, I want a lawyer, they go, are you sure? And they start doing that dance, you know they don't got shit.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, but that's the thing. If you're a fan of the cat and mouse, but also would love to just cut to the chase, like if you're in the hot seat, that's what I would do. Like I don't want to, because that's the thing. It can only be used against you. Even if you come out the victor verbally, like it's still going to be played in court.
Mm-hmm.
You may become a lawyer.
Before any questioning, if you wish. Do you understand that? Okay. If you decide to
I
answer
do.
questions now about a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering at any time. You also have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand that? Okay. What does that mean to you?
Sometimes it's so simple. Like I watched somebody read Miranda rights to someone, and they literally just said the same words back to them, feeling like a parrot and having no retention. And he goes, "Good, now just sign here."
Yeah.
Just a little exploitative. But I guess it's better than nothing, because like before Miranda did his shit in 1975, here local reference again, they didn't have anything.
Yeah, I guess.
But you know, it really doesn't matter, because most people look down the barrel of that gun and go, yeah, like pull the trigger.
Perfect, absolutely. This is your waiver of rights. Can you read that out loud, Fred?
I've read the statement of my rights and I understand what my rights are.
I'm waiving them.
To make a statement and answer questions. I do not want a lawyer at this time. I understand and know what I am doing. No problem.
Just listen to the tone of his voice, and it's almost impossible to comprehend what has just happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, context is so important, and that's why like these interrogations are a wild ride, because you get to see someone spin a narrative and or just have faulty memory and or whatever the case may be, when like there's video evidence and whatnot, and you go, well, what about this? And like the stupid subjects, well, they go, nuh-uh, basically. They just go, nuh-uh. I've seen a country mile this week of suspects looking at like still shots or video evidence or DNA. And they go, nuh-uh, officer, you ain't got shit on me. And they go, like,
This is here.
it's like when they showed Sarah Boone the video. Like
Yeah.
if instead of going like, I don't remember that, she just went, nuh-uh. Like that feels like my entire week.
Let's just start with the basics. Where do you live?
In a house.
Lawyer.
Okay, what's your address?
1212.
612 Wharf Avenue.
Ridge Circle.
Oh, my God.
Like you're not on the phone.
No, it's these jackasses who like, I don't know if it's like, it's the same sort of kissing cousin to like the guy who wants to become a cop but can't. So is a security guard. Justin said he was a
He
cop.
was a dispatcher.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's so annoying because it's like when you use it when it's hard to understand. Like that's why you put it on like a radio or you're talking to someone
On the
who-
phone.
Yeah, like languages are not primary in English in either case.
Yeah.
Like these are both very white gentlemen talking to one another.
Within a foot apart from each
Right.
other.
Don't be like Romeo, Echo, Echo, Niner. Like that. It number one feels like ass kissing, and number two, it's like you got time to like pull out the phonetic alphabet and like.
Yeah, I just make that shit up. If I have to do that.
Well, no, what I'm saying is like instead of being in the moment and being like, 'cause, you know, in an emotional situation, you have no control basically. Like when you're sad because you're sad. He's putting that aside to be like Romeo Echo 9471 Zulu, and like when it comes up later, it's like my poor little, and then not a tear is shed. It's just so. He was lucky that like I was not on his jury, because I would have asked for like the reinstatement of hanging.
What's your date first, real quick?
1127.
11/27 and 80. And what's your phone number?
205-792-6806.
Okay.
Probably not good anymore.
And what's your
No.
It's AT&T.
Alright, so what's the
I love that shit.
51484.
And what's your phone number?
205-792-5128.
Man, he knows her number quick.
He's a weirdo.
I mean, I know yours, but you don't know mine.
It's in my phone. So here's the thing. I know that like a lot of the time I go, whoa, the rapport building or whatever. It's not just for, because as I sit and watch other interrogations, rapport building is not simply just trying to get the person to relax necessarily, because we can see JRH here, totally at ease, whipping out the phonetic alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
There's no rapport to be built. Like, he already feels like he's one of the three dudes and they're all working together on a problem versus him being the problem. Crap, I've lost my train of thought.
Rapport building and...
Oh, right. Sorry. I lost on a tangent. So also is like the answer quickness is what they're looking for. It's not just like trying to get Justin to be like, yeah, we are buddies. That when you ask someone a question that is the truth, you don't have to make up the truth. So it comes naturally. Your brain receives a request and it is delivered to your mouth, because that's how things that you experience work. You go, what did you do today? They go, boom, 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 boom. Or how, what's on your sandwich? They don't go like their eyeballs don't roll around the top of their head and they go, tomato. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, is like when they go, what's your wife's phone number? What's her birthday? Blah, blah, blah. It's like answer, 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 answer. So when they go, okay, now it's time to ask the hard questions that will, the truth will be a memory to recall. And they go, and they turn into one of those fucking wall clock cats. They go, well, earlier you were Alpha Romeo echoing us into our fucking early graves, and now you're like, dirt.
Hey, your son's name is Cooper? Okay, what's Cooper's middle name? M-I-L-L-S?
Yes.
Odd choice.
8212.
Ross, just kind of run me through your life today. And you have my condolences. This horrendous thing that I've gone through. Just run me through what happened.
Like, doesn't it feel with the absence of, because there's another bit of footage out there with, I can't remember, it's like Ruben and what's her face, they whatever, there's a huge thing, like this kid goes missing, they're both guilty, but it's just like, hey, you have my condolences, but like there's never any sadness
Emotion
being
behind
expressed.
it? Yeah.
So it's like, hey, sorry for your loss, and then being like, who? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels almost farcical where you're offering them something and they go, I don't even, like when someone sticks a hand out to be like, hey, welcome to the club, and they go, whoa, like they're a germaphobe. It's such a weird, like, hey, you have my condolences. And they go, hey, thanks.
Do you remember, more recent than this guy, in Arizona, there was a family who left their kid in their SUV in their driveway. And it was, I want to say maybe it was Tempe or Phoenix or something.
It happens all the time out here, though, so it's hard to.
I don't remember if the poor kid, if they passed away or not. I just remember like seeing like helicopter footage of like the SUV in their driveway. Like, I can't. If you go back to into your house again and don't notice that your kid is not there,
right?
There's
like,
a problem.
Your house, like probably like mine, is filled with toys for the kids. So all of that is a decent reminder. Plus, here's the thing: when you're a parent, anytime there's silence, you feel something is wrong.
Yes.
Anytime my kid is quiet, I go, something is up. Because when like a person's natural resting state is like 5-alarm chili siren, when that turns off, you go, hey, where's that obnoxious siren? And you go, I'm feeling too comfortable.
Yeah, this is
almost
too fine.
So that's the thing. It's like, how, like, because, you get I get severe mental illness, I get drug addiction, I get all of that, because those things can take you away, pretty radically. But like extreme laziness or incompetence just feels like, everybody who thinks they're smart, like every Rick and Morty fan wants to have like stupidity criminalized. And like, this is walking the line where I go, they might be right. Like, as smug as that shit is.
And starting with woke up this morning.
Woke up, had a piece of toast.
Went to Chick-fil-A.
Every
we go.
time I hear about what your morning was like, I always remember that Futurama episode with the water people. Or no, not the water people.
The
with
crab people.
Yes.
Decapodians. Yeah, but that's the thing. I've heard so many interrogations, if they ever get this far, like they don't lawyer up or like they're not an insano. They go, okay, I woke up. I've heard I woke up so many times. Like, oh my God. Of course you woke up. We're here.
I went to the bathroom.
But like it's just like hearing Once Upon a Time. It's kind of familiar and comforting, but kind of like seriously again. Like I woke up. We woke up. I write work.
I left the house with Cooper at about, it was about 8:30, yeah, about 8:30. And the plan was I was going to take him to Chick-fil-A in Vinings.
Must be nice that your kid slept until 8:30.
And got breakfast, and me and him do that at Chick-fil-A in Vinings.
So, and here's the thing that I'll like give you the background of. Like, he did take the kid to Chick-fil-A. Like, there's video evidence. Like, they play it in court. They go, well, there's Cooper, there's Justin. So, like, it wasn't like he was in such a hurry that they had to skip breakfast and they blew through literally everything to get to work. Like, they still left early enough to go to Chick-fil-A and, like, not go through the drive-thru even. Like, they sat down and had a meal in restaurant. Only to be like, yep. Whoops. What?
Approximately 2-3 times a month together.
Approximately.
We have our daddy some breakfast together.
The rest of the time, he has no breakfast.
And after we eat breakfast, I usually take him across the street to daycare, which is at the Home Depot. And then I'll go work, which is at an alternate location, which is I don't work in the big SSC. I actually work in an annex office off of Cumberland.
Because he does web pages.
Another guy that does web pages.
It's just an annex office of the big building.
Did you fucking forget why we're here, Justin? Like,
just keep talking about that annex building.
An annex. I just...
Where's it going?
I love loud noise breathers, especially when it's the only thing in between two islands of nothing. Yeah, it's an annex.
That's where my team works. And we're leaving Chick-fil-A. I put him in his car seat.
Clear memory.
Like I always do. I always put him in his car seat. I make sure he's strapped in all the time.
That's, I mean, so you would
All
do.
regulations that we watched on YouTube and everything.
Why?
Yeah, why bring that up? Like, you've
had this kid in car seats for 22 months already.
Not only that, but like you were negligent enough to leave them in a fucking hot car all day, which you visited at lunch to leave some products within, and you should have seen your son's head. You think the detectives are super interested in all the regulations you found on YouTube for that shit?
Probably not.
Oh, how many videos did you see? Oh, how many of them were on remembering your son was in the car?
I strapped him in, I tightened him up. I gave him a kiss, he gave me a kiss.
We shook hands.
What I do every time, it's my routine. I let him know, I give him a kiss.
This just makes it feel worse.
But you're
because-
getting back in the car, so it's not like...
He's doubling, but that's the thing. Every idiot, that's why I feel like this was intentional, because every idiot will go like, there's one out there right now that's a really interesting piece of footage. So this guy, his story is he and his 11-year-old son went out to the laundry room of their trailer park. They found the mom on the floor, unresponsive. Dad called 911 as the kid tried CPR and cried his eyes out over his mom's fucking dead body.
Right.
So the police show up and he's like, oh, you gotta save her, man. She saves my whole world. And they do the first half of the interview, rather. And he's like, I love her, perfect marriage, blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, P.S., did you know that because there's a little bit of crime in trailer parks, that your laundry room is wired for video and sound? And we caught you. Here's the thing. It wasn't caught on video because it was like right off of frame, but he strangled the fuck out of her in living sound, stood around in the laundry room for like 45 minutes going like, oh God, what do I do? And decided to traumatize his 11-year-old son by pulling him and making him discover the body. Fuck. And then when the police go like, P.S., we have that footage and now what the fuck? He turns into a hateful, like spiteful little fuck goblin. And he's like, fuck that shit, man. Like she was going to take my kids. Like, fuck her. And it went from like, she was my everything and she just passed for no reason to like, she was ruining my fucking life. And I literally had to strangle her because I had no other option.
Jeez.
It's a fucking... So, yeah, we don't have any of that to be like, what's up with that, Justin? Because, how do you prove that he's like, all right, I'm leaving my kid? But, what, it's crazy.
I do that because if for some reason, God forbid, we're in an accident, I want him to...
Right, and no, that's the thing. He's like, God forbid, I love my kid so much. The one I accidentally murdered, accidentally, wink, wink, wink. Like, I always tell them at every opportunity, whenever there's a lull in the conversation, I say I love you, because what if they, just die, or they disappear, or they're abducted by aliens, or during, a mid-sentence they're hit by a meteor. I always, like, any lull, I go, I love you. That makes you look so fucking guilty. I would never, like, if Krista died, I wouldn't be like, every time, like, oh my God, like, that's not the time to, like, prove you love them.
Right. Yeah.
Like, to be like, you don't know how many Hallmark cards I bought that woman. Like, shut the fuck up. Oh my God.
And I died, I would hope he'd have a memory of me, telling him every time the last time he sees me that.
Or if I killed him, I hope he would look at me and be like, why, Daddy? You literally tell me all the time you love me, and now you're leaving me to die in a car. Thanks, Justin.
And give him a kiss. And just today was just a careless. I got in my car.
It was just careless. Whoops.
Instead of going from here to here, I went straight to work, which is I turned on to Cumberland. And
after the whole rigmarole of buckling, tightening, giving him a kiss, receiving a kiss from him, telling you he loves you, and vice versa, doing the high five and the secret handshake and putting on the Illuminati helmet and doing the lighting the candles, I would like from the walk from the passenger side to the driver's side, I was just like, well, doodly dee.
I drove down Cumberland Boulevard. I went to work as if he wasn't even in the back.
As if.
And I probably didn't even hear him because he falls asleep really easily.
Oh my God. That's that. That's how I would hope that if I were killed by a loved one out of negligence, I hope that they, when they talk about the part where I die, they go, that's it. And the story is exactly 15 seconds long. Like, there's my dead body in the back of a car. Krista, she goes, well, I put him back there. He had a bowl of water, and that's it. Fucking, I hate this dude. I worked.
No work day, had no meetings. What time did you do? About 9:30. I don't.
I have a salary.
I don't, sir.
You get to work about 9:30. What do you do?
Go to my
I
desk.
go straight to my desk, and I sit down and I check my emails. And,
I eat some M&Ms.
I have banjo with the guys I work with, and
Have a banjo.
I have a morning meeting every day at 10:30. I have no meeting. So, the day's going good. Lunchtime rolls around. I got some guys that I work with across the street.
It would be like if you ever come home and like realize that you did something stupid that ruined something, right? And like while you were away, like maybe you get a new puppy, right? You don't properly secure them. So while you're out on the night, out of town having fun at night, they're destroying something or shitting on something. And so when you look back on that memory, you go, oh, man, while I was dancing, this thing was destroying my shoes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what, like when you go through the memory of what you were doing, it's going to have a flavor and an effect from the thing that was happening that you go, oh, I feel responsible for that.
Yes.
Do you notice that
No.
in Justin?
No, and I don't get, like, his car is in a parking lot with a bunch of other cars, presumably. No, like, nobody can hear a kid screaming?
I don't want to speculate on what may or may not have happened because that's too much. But yeah, more like that's the thing in a corporate parking lot. Like, but that's the thing too. Like, sit in a hot car, see how long you would like last.
No, I get it.
And you're a full-grown human.
Yeah.
Like,
I came and picked me up. We went to Publix, ate lunch.
classic Publix. True crime and fucking Publix tied together. If you're gonna murder someone, you're gonna end up at a Publix.
Mm-hmm. Even if there's not one in your state, you're gonna end up there.
They'll build one near you. Guess that's it.
And then I finished the work day, and then we had plans to go to the movie. Me and the two guys on his lunch break, we had plans to go to a movie.
So this is where the story is gonna get like super extra stupid.
Yeah, who's?
And I'm gonna spoil it because I don't want him to get that. He doesn't even realize like when he gets in. Like he gets in and starts driving and like halfway to the movie theater realizes his kid is in there. Like the kid has blonde hair and his head would have stuck up above the seat that was black. And you need your eyes to navigate your body. Typically, blind people are an exception, but typically
But you wouldn't be
the sighted of us would use your eyes to scan the area, looking for threats, etc., or whatever. But you would see a puff of blonde hair. This
Yeah.
story is such bullshit.
A movie at 5 o'clock, which is where I was going. I was going to try to get there about 4:20, 4:30. just
And,
to
like,
beat the-
I can understand. Okay, in a situation where somebody has like extreme exhaustion, like, you know, we didn't sleep a lot when he was super small.
Right. I
But-
could see like single mom, 3 kids, 1 job.
Like
sort
that kind of thing. But this is the man wakes up at 8:30 in the morning.
Right. He's a plump, well-nourished, well-rested dope. And that's the thing. I think that he was just sort of leaning into and was acknowledging the fact that he just sort of looks like a giant slow dope. And they would go, oh, poor Justin. Like he's just a dopey, bowl-cutted, Chris Chan polo shirt wearing idiot. Like, better luck next time, slugger. And they would pat him on the ass, like, as they kicked him out the door after this interview where he feels like nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I'm glad we don't live in that world.
If there's an after work crowd trying to go to a movie or anything like that, I thought I'd get there a little early. And as I was driving down, whatever that is right there.
Oh, golly gosh.
Makersmill. As I was driving down Makersmill, I caught a glimpse of it when I looked to my right to change lanes. I caught a glimpse of it in the back. I thought I was seeing things.
Imagine retelling the moment where you found your closest loved one dead. And just be like, oh, yeah, there it was. Oh.
I would have crashed the car.
It's like finding a hat on the side of the road. Highway hats. Right?
Yeah, I would have legitimately, like, not, like, on purpose crashed the car because I would have
You
freaked
can't-
the fuck out.
There are some things that you can't even entertain the idea as reality for more than a few fleeting seconds because it's so like world like reshaping.
Yeah.
And this I consider one of those moments where he's just like, oh, god damn, like I was halfway to the movie theater trying to get there, and there he was. Like he's just talking about finding the perfect lawnmower, like while walking through a Lowe's.
Yeah. And then I saw it.
And, for a few minutes, I guess for an eternity, but for just a few seconds, I attempted CPR.
For a few seconds.
I couldn't
No.
compose myself to do it, so there was a group there.
It's come a long way, right?
I'm sure you know their names.
What a cool thing to say.
There
Bunch
was
of
a-
people there. Pretty sure you all know their names.
There was a group there.
The witnesses who can attest that, I wasn't really doing CPR. Like, how Sarah Boone was like, he's purple and I don't want to touch him. At least she said that she didn't want to touch him. Like, she didn't lie about that shit.
And they attempted, and I saw him laying there.
Oh my fucking God.
He had that stare in his face. I knew he was coming.
Did you take him out of the car seat?
I did. I knew he was going, and I told him that he was going. Just because his eyes were open, like halfway. His eyes were open halfway. He wasn't breathing.
I mean, like, it doesn't matter. Like, let's say Chris has been dead for like 8 hours on the bed, and he's just like, "Bleh." Like the first thing you would do is just like jump in and be like, maybe it just happened, and you could, because every second counts in a situation like that. To look at someone and go like, yeah, that not even gonna try, not even, not even like an attempt. Just looked at your son, your 22-month-old son, and you went, I just can't. How?
He didn't have a pulse. And every medic training I've ever gone through, told me to check for breathing, check for a pulse.
If you didn't see either of those, do exactly nothing. That's what my medic training taught me. They said, hey, if they're already dead, don't bother trying to save them. You're a medic, not Jesus Christ superstar.
He didn't have either. I knew he was.
That's what CPR is for, Justin. When you're a medic and someone is injured and they lose one or both of those, you provided for them artificially.
Yes.
You say, well, they don't have this or this. Aha, we have a remedy. We came up with a whole method.
The whole thing. You do it to songs in your head.
What every parent and their life fears they've done, and that's just leave their son in the car all day. And
And how do you end a sentence like that? I realized I left my son in the car on a hot day and.
I lost it. I just started screaming, started yelling. I screamed. I don't even remember when I yelled. I was just freaking out.
That's important. What were you yelling, Justin? Because that could make the difference. Like, just even thinking about it. Imagine putting myself there and like cranking it up to like real life situation. I would just be throwing up.
Right, exactly.
Like you would see something like that, and if like the adrenaline couldn't get me over the hump of like the horror to get into CPR, my only other option would be just to throw up, so that like my lungs and stomach and spleen were flying out of my mouth.
That's right. And I was trying to frantically call the daycare and tell them, because my wife was in there.
That's what I would do. I was like, hey, guys, stop billing me. He's dead. I killed my son. Cancel my credit card payment. Frantically. That's who I would call first.
Yeah. What? He's about to say his wife was on her way to go pick him up from the daycare.
Right,
Why
so-
not call the wife and say, "Oh my God!" Like
It's the same thing that Chris Watts did, even though he's not doing it for the same reason. Like Chris Watts was doing it to cancel
payment.
like the payment on the credit card because he just annihilated his family.
Right.
I don't know why Justin was like, who do I call after 911? The daycare? But like, tell my wife, like, don't
Yeah.
put that on some daycare worker.
Out to get him from the daycare where he was supposed to be. I was going to the movie, and I was trying to frantically call the daycare and tell them
Frantically.
when my wife gets there, don't let her leave. There's going to be people that are going to show up.
Why would they show up at the daycare? The kid's not there.
P.S. Like, would no one at the daycare be like, "Hey, you didn't show up"? I realize
Also that.
I realize that they pay to go there, so maybe sometimes they go and sometimes they don't. But I'm assuming that since he was going to be taken there and it was simply just forgotten about, somebody would have been like, "Hey."
Well, yeah, usually, like, if it's a, like,
I forget what part of, maybe that's the thing. There's so much of this case that I've just forgotten it.
well, I'm sure, like, I know with daycares and stuff, if you're taking your kid there, it's either, like, you know, set days or you get, like, added on. So they already know, like you said, they already know. It's kind of like at school. Like, you get an absentee phone call, like, hey,
Right.
so
But
it's going
that's
to
what
show
I'm
up
saying,
today.
like, just to cover their own ass. I don't know about that aspect of this case because there's so many aspects of it that are so confusing.
Right.
When he goes to the daycare, I go, well, like, those things are hundreds of dollars, and like they want to cover their ass so that like nobody calls and been like, why was I charged when my kid wasn't there? Like nobody did.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like maybe I want to. That's the thing. If you want to look into this, or if you know, tell me. I wonder if the daycare did give a call and he's like, ignore,
Right.
because like, what the fuck, dude?
But it sounds like he doesn't bring the kid to daycare every day because of the whole
But
dinner.
that's his routine, though. He would say, I would usually drive him to daycare and then go over here.
but
He's like,
only
I
do
just
breakfast a couple times a month.
Right, but he
or
just
whatever, okay.
plumb forgot. That's the thing.
Right. All right.
I don't want to freak out thinking that he's missing.
Because I killed him. I wouldn't want her to misconstrue the situation. He's not missing, he's dead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My first phone call if something like this happened would not be to the daycare. It would
Yeah.
be to you.
Hey, honey, listen. You might hear that our son is missing. Don't worry. He's not missing. He's dead.
And I would be completely
Great one.
inaudible.
Yeah, sweet,
Calling you.
Justin. What a cool thing. Like, hey, daycare worker, making $8.50 an hour. You think you can break the news to my wife? He's not missing. He's the worst thing.
Did you call anyone? I made 2 calls to the daycare, and they didn't answer. I made 1 call to my wife, which I don't know, because
I don't get any of that shit. Like, here's the thing. Now that everybody's got a cell phone, there's no reason not to just get on the phone with 911 because the operators say, stay with me until fire, police,
Until somebody
et cetera,
gets there.
gets there.
Yeah.
So the fact that all these people in all these interrogations will go, I called 911, and I called my dad, and I called my sister, and she told me to call my lawyer, but then I called the daycare a couple of times. Then I tried to call my wife, and I go like, so like because remember the first iteration of this story is like he runs out, knew he was dead, didn't even bother doing CPR because like the police are there showing up so fast, and like they took over.
Right.
But now it's like all these calls are being made.
Well, I think from what I'm hearing from him is that he was making these calls while people were trying to work on their son.
Whatever. The timeline is stupid and muddy, but like, doesn't it feel less like stupid and more like intentional with
Yes.
like the icing of stupid, hoping that you don't look through?
Yeah, because like he said that there's a group of people already there. Where? You were like in the middle of like you were turning down a street.
He pulled over into a busy parking lot.
Oh.
He pulled in over like a strip mall or whatever, so there were people.
I have no idea the email. She told me to get off the phone. And I popped the durst at her because I was losing my mind.
I'm pretty cool now, though.
So did you get anybody on the phone? Okay. So I heard you talking on the phone when you were talking to somebody when we walked up. And you understand it's a lot of things going on. It's easy to forget. Were you talking to anybody on the phone? No?
Nobody on the phone.
Okay. What kind of phone is it?
Fancy
Yeah, iPhone 5.
for the time.
That's good.
I have no idea what passcode is. It's biometric.
It's 0. See, if you're gonna lie, you wouldn't say 0. It's biometric.
Yeah.
You're like, hey man, like, there's a dick and ball shaped hole in my yogurt. Is that you? I'd be like, only the no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I can't remember. Do I get it back so I can call my brother and...
we got to pull all those sacks for the 15-year-old and get those nice and charged.
Yeah.
Let's start back when you say you woke up and it was a normal day. On a normal day.
Let's go back to when you woke up. Say that again.
Let's go back to this morning.
Tell me you woke up. I love that part.
Your normal routine. Who's the person that normally takes food to daycare?
I would say that most of the time I take him to daycare.
Huh. Most of the time he takes him to daycare. So it wasn't like an unusual thing.
Right. It wasn't like those only times that they go to Chick-fil-A for breakfast.
It wasn't like once in a while.
There's no routine.
Don't say that. You always have a fucking routine. If you have a kid, you have a routine.
Yeah.
Work early, I don't know, wake up. Hey, will you take him today? It's really a flip of the coin. I wouldn't even think that I take him the majority of the time. I have no idea.
Well, it's Wednesday now.
Well, I mean, I said I took him the majority of the time, but I actually don't know, so please don't quote me on that, because if I did, that really implies that I should have known better.
Yeah. I think he realized that there, and he was like, oh, wait.
He's not even good at being stupid.
Mm.
I don't know.
Who took him yesterday?
Here he is in court.
Wow.
Like, what is... Like, he's showing more emotion now.
Yeah, because he's about to go in for life.
This is the what the least emotional part of the interrogation.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, hey, what's going on now? And he's like, yeah, you know, sort of shooting the shit. And like, here the real IRL Justin Ross Harris. Did your lawyers not give you like time codes to react to? They were just like, hey, look sad whenever you fucking feel like it.
Yeah, you're on camera.
It'll come across as totally legit when he asks you what your favorite Slurpee size is, and you're reacting totally cool in the moment on the interrogation footage. But if you could like really just cram that fat fingered hand into your piggy nose, we could really hammer home that you're innocent.
He kind of reminds me of, oh, God.
Nelson Muntz.
No.
I don't know.
Gary Busey. No, not him. The lawyer from, with the blind superhero guy.
Foggy Nelson?
What's that? Okay. So you have to eat.
I have a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. That's what I always had. He had a sausage biscuit. That's what he always had.
I left him in the car, which I've not done before, but yeah, why did I bring that up, right? That's the thing. Like, when you're trying to play stupid, it usually looks like, I don't know, we don't have a routine. When we go there, he orders something different every time. There's no rhyme or reason, so there's hard to keep a grasp on reality, and I'm tired, and he's a kid, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Don't go like, okay, always does this. We always do that. I'm usually doing this. He's usually doing that. And then, like, after you, like, build what you think is a house of, you know, sturdy parenthood, when you step back, you realize it's a coffin because you go, I know everything that's going on and have for the last 22 months.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, what up with that?
Let's get a medical petition.
He does not. This is pediatrician. Doctor, forgive me on my name too, but I'm losing my mind.
I'm just so
I'm
sad.
losing my mind.
Look at him.
He's the pediatrician at the Kaiser on Cumberland Boulevard.
Oh, they're on the board.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, just please forgive me. My speech is affected. My memory is affected. The sheer horror of the situation has got me damn near struck dumb. So please, if my eloquence suffers, I beg your pardon.
Did you meet anybody at Chick-fil-A?
There was a gentleman sitting next to us that my son smiled and waved at. The manager there, he's a bald white man. He knows me. I come in there all the time. He saw me. He said he knows my son's name. He said, "Hi, Cooper."
What a weird thing to say. I know your son's name. Hi, Cooper. I'm a bald man. Bye.
He goes in there all the time, But he only takes his son there once every 2 or 3 months. How does he know his son's name?
Nothing in this story makes sense when put to literally any other part of this story. That's the problem. Because since it's not stupid enough to be stupid, and it's not smart enough to be not stupid. Like, it just feels like an intentional act that he really, 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 really hoped he could just say whoopsie daisy about.
Yeah.
And that's what's so crazy is, like, being a parent, I know that I couldn't get away with literally anything he is saying. Because if I go, I don't know. I know what my kid does, eats, where he's at, what he says, what he smells like at all times of the day or night. And I got a tight grip on him. And even the Chick-fil-A manager knows him. But somehow I just forgot I had a son for 175 yards.
Right.
Nice one, Justin.
Just the usual people that work there, they see me all the time.
This is the Chick-fil-A by the Starbucks over there?
I mean, you can tell by my waist. I'm in there frequently.
Oh, but no one else met you there? You didn't have any family or friends meet you there? Anything like
Wasn't a
that?
reunion.
One of your 4 mistresses.
And then you left from there. When you left there, were you on the phone?
Nope.
Were you talking to anybody?
Nope.
Were you listening to on the radio?
Probably 104.7.
Kiss FM. It's so weird that lines up because 104.7 was one of the. I mean, I got to see the rise and fall of it, at least in my eyes, because back in the 90s alternative was like 104.7 and 101.5. Then it became today's pop garbage and it turned into Kiss FM for like 2 glorious weeks when I was in high school as it transitioned to KZZP to like Kiss FM. Since I don't know what it took them to transition. I don't know if they were moving literal equipment or not, but they played Prince's Kiss for week after week. And it became something I just look forward to. No matter how turbulent my high school life got, no matter how like a pain in the ass my job was, I knew that when I got in my car,
That would be on.
Kiss by Prince would be on. And I go,
Thank God.
I always have this.
Stability.
And then that left.
I mean, I wasn't doing anything. I just left and,
Well, when you leave Chick-fil-A, how do you get to work? Do you take a left? Do you
I
take
turn
right?
around and come and do that funky U-turn right there in front of Home Depot. That U-turn, work is right in front of me. And I just,
So you would have to do something remarkably different if you were or were not taking your son to daycare and you were like, well, I had to take that funky, remarkably different U-turn. And you wouldn't go like, whoa, why am I doing that? I just had breakfast with a kid who's known by the manager. He told me so.
He knows his name.
I know your kid's name.
So you left, pulled out Chick-fil-A, you took a right,
mm-hmm.
you did that U-turn right
Right there in front of Home Depot.
and you just continue straight on Cumberland over Cases.
I did.
Okay.
I usually turn left on Paces and then pull into Home Depot. Instead, I went straight across Paces, went right to work.
Okay. When you got to
Wow.
work, where'd you park at?
Why, Justin? Why? You fucking idiot. Huh?
So
Indoors, out.
I just had a weird memory. So going back to like the manager knowing their son's name. So when I was pregnant, I would go with my mom we would go to Village Inn and get their like VIB breakfast, and we'd go out on our like, I don't know, mother-daughter dates. And we always would ask for James, the waiter that we would had since I got pregnant. And he knew who we were. He didn't know our names. He knew who we were, what we liked to eat. And then he knew our son's name was going to be Elliot when I was still pregnant because we would talk to him about it and stuff. And it reminded me of that manager knowing the guy's name, but we would go there. And then he met Elliot, and it was.
I've had relationships like that. It's so strange because, like, the last job I was at, I would walk to the mailbox once or twice a day, depending on if I was bored or not. But I would walk by the dude who worked at the pool table store, who was like thin as a rail, never knew his name. Must have talked to him a grand total of like over hundreds of hours, because it was years. I would just walk by and would shoot the shit. I knew he lived in Gilbert, didn't know anything about him, didn't know his name, knew he smoked.
Yeah, James knew.
But then one day he disappeared. And what do I do? I go walk in, like, there was this new dude. I go, well, where's
That guy.
But here's the thing. He looked like a dude who probably was doing something skeezy and got found out or whatever. I don't want to throw shade, because the dude was genuinely nice, but he did throw off vibes of like, might be skipping from the till or whatever. Like,
See, we loved James. He was this like 30, 40 something black guy, awesome, like the best waiter at this Village Inn. And he literally knew the same order that we got the time before. It was like, do you still want those eggs and bacon? And
right,
like,
but that's the thing. You need to know them by, like, I knew him by smoking pool guy.
he
Like,
knew
you
us
were known by the order, and that's just
and the mother-daughter pregnant.
Right, but they know you on a deeper level because they know you by name, whatever. But if they know you by you, that's different.
And we went back
with Justin Ross Harris. So please, let's stop talking about Village Inn, because we're digressing too much. We've been through 33 minutes of footage. And I want to get to the part where his wife comes in and goes, "Oh, baby," and like it's this. Hopefully we'll get to it, but just in case we don't, she comes in and like collapses on the floor and like lays in his lap, and she's like, "I want more kids." We got to get to it.
The parking, is it a parking deck? Is it a parking, it's a parking lot outdoors?
He's trying to pull his Mo wig off.
Actually parking under a tree.
Didn't today though. Don't know why. Extra hot for some
You
reason.
pull into the parking lot, left side, right side. You may draw.
Yeah. Actually,
I can't imagine being like, "Yeah, you want me to draw the parking lot in which my son was died? Like I'll put a little X where his corpse was found." Like, obviously, right now I'm not showing the emotion I feel like in the legitimate moment when I play these thought experiments out, because that would be too bone crushing. Like, but like, what the fuck? Like, the absurdity alone is enough to go like almost black comedy. But like, on what planet would you be okay with like, "Hey, would you mind drawing us like a quick map of where your son's corpse ended up?" Like, jeez.
I'll draw that real fast. Here's the building. Here's Carlin. There's a drive. Goes around the building.
Really quick, because they keep saying Cumberland. If you're familiar with the Christopher Fosber interrogation, which is insane because it also deals with child abuse, it doesn't end in a death, but the in the Christopher Fosber interrogation, they don't talk about Cumberland Road, but there's a Cumberland Farms market plays a heavy.
Is it in Connecticut? Was that in Connecticut? Because we had a Cumberland Farms in Connecticut.
I want to say it's in Florida because everything's in Florida.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Cumberland Farms was like a little, like a gas station markety kind of place.
Yeah, so that's the thing. His girlfriend went to go get cigarettes, left him alone with the baby or whatever. So every time he says Cumberland, I go, "Oh."
Every time he says it, I think of Cumberland Farms.
Yeah, can they call it him and the detectives call it Cumbies?
Yeah, we used to call Cumberland Farms Cumbies.
That's crazy. And I'm not even from there. I only know that from interrogation footage.
Over here. This is a big giant parking lot.
Big old giant parking lot.
There's a parking spots right here.
And here's my son. Jesus.
right tree. Tree right here.
The tree's gonna be right here, I think. I guess on the left. I guess on the left.
Why'd you stop drawing then, dummy?
Is this the 2600 code?
Can I ask you a question? When can I talk to my wife?
We are trying to get in touch with her right now. I got detectives out there meeting with her.
Do you know where she is?
I really need to put a spin on this story, and hopefully they don't search my phone and find all the sexting.
Meet now, and once again, I won't lie to you. Okay? I believe they're meeting her at your house.
Okay.
Which of course is always the a better place. Just that you're not in some.
That's another weird thing. It feels like a knee-jerk reflex from the detective where like, again, I won't lie to you. Like that feels like it would come out in an interrogation where, you know, credibility would be an issue, but like the, again, I won't lie to you feels like the detective knows this is an interrogation. Obviously he does. Justin doesn't, but the detective doesn't realize that Justin doesn't. So he keeps treating it like it is sort of ham-fistedly.
Right. So, what was that guy's name? Chris what?
Christopher Fosmer.
Well, it's just like before. It's a flip of a coin. It's whenever she gets off work, and she never knows when she's going to get off work. If she gets off work, she'll get. If she's going to get off work late, probably do.
Okay, let's do this.
What kind of job do you have? Like, I realize there are some jobs out there that are like wildly fluctuating schedules, but few and far between. Like, this story doesn't make sense.
I have no idea.
Okay, you know where I'm going. Okay.
Let me see.
Who's the teacher there?
Her name is Azure Hawkins. Azure's Alpha, Zulu, Uniform, Romeo, Echo.
Foxtrot, Zulu, Echo.
Hawkins, normal spelling.
What are your friends' names? I want to see about you.
What?
Alex Hall,
Who's your best friend?
Winston Milling. Milling is my
Winston Zeddemore.
How do you know these guys?
They both went to Alabama with me. We run a small LLC together doing web development
I mean, obviously we don't run anywhere.
on the side.
What's it called?
Night Hour Development. Exactly. Spell it like that.
Exactly. Oh, it was in New York. That's why. Cumberland's was probably in New York too. Sorry, I had to know where Christopher Fosmer was from. It was New York. Glens Falls.
Yeah, Glens Falls. He says Glens Falls and Sauclins Falls.
Yeah.
Okay. I
New
just
York.
assumed it was Florida because that's where most
Yes.
throw a dart at a map, and it's usually Florida.
No, dude, I'll have to look at my phone.
Okay, they're on your phone now?
Yeah.
Okay. And so,
We'll probably never do his interrogation because raw, it's 5 hours. Edited, it's 3 hours. And it's really something you should watch for yourself because he's one of these characters that, you know, coming up in the trades as I did, I met a lot of dudes like him. And so he's got that revisionist history, but I've heard his story a million times where it's like my baby mama and yada, yada, yada. And
Yeah.
the
No.
kid wasn't even, it's just a
I'm
crazy,
good.
it's a case.
they work together?
They live right next to each
Where are they working?
other. Over hunting.
Are they work at Depot too?
And they work in the big building.
The Washburn.
The big building where the daycare is.
Cumbies.
I think you're being very open.
Well, sure.
See, is how he doesn't think this is interrogation.
We're leaving up at 11:30.
And what time's your return?
Shortly after 12, at 12:20 maybe. I don't even remember.
Maybe he's going to mention the light bulbs.
Who's your boss?
He's in Austin, Texas, actually. The local boss will be Tia. Likely.
Tamara.
Just like that. That would be the closest manager I have.
Does she work in
Your
the-
regional manager.
What's her phone?
I don't know. You could call Home Depot number and you could. Actually, I didn't even know. Actually, I could get it off of my emails.
Okay. All right. Where's your wife?
She works for DaVita Dialysis.
Oh. DaVita dialysis.
So do you think they would be like, hey, your schedule is going to fluctuate wildly, or do you think a medical industry would have set schedule?
Oh no, dialysis would have a set schedule.
Interesting story, Justin.
Unless she does swing shifts, but
It's based out of the clinic in Bettelsville at Harbor Place. But she floats around.
she could be a float nurse.
She's always had to drive. She's good.
She a nurse?
She's a dietitian. I can't even imagine what I can't even.
I can't even imagine how she's reacting to my negligent murder of our child.
I can't even imagine what she feels like that I called the daycare before her.
Boy, oh, she's probably, I mean, if you think I'm a wreck, boy, shoo, she's like at a 3.
How's your relationship been?
Fantastic. We have a really good relationship.
I got 4 people on the side.
And a child.
3
I
people.
think it was 5 total.
Damn.
But it might have been 6. But I don't want to. I want to say it was between 4 and 6, so that's why I was saying 5.
I'm sorry, but like,
Right, he's a disgusting pile of bullshit.
and how do you find the time?
Exactly. Like, if I wanted to step out, when would I find the time with one other person? Like, holy fuck. My every moment away from, like, work and child rearing is, like, on the couch. I can't imagine spending the time, energy, and money on someone else who I'm, like, trying to fuck.
Let alone 6 other
Like,
people.
Holy shit. Seriously. But if you're a checked out idiot, right, but that's the thing. It's maybe that's it. It's negligence that he's trying to frost as stupidity. But this feels pretty fucking intentional to me. Like,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. There are so many cases out there where like the aforementioned 13-year-old, they had cerebral palsy real bad.
Yeah.
There was one where a woman pushed her child into like a canal because he had autism and was nonverbal. So I get that
People just snap.
yeah, like they because that's the thing, the luck of the draw is like you as a parent don't know if you're going to saddle yourself with, like, let's say your kid is born with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, or autism, and they're non-functional.
Right, you
in
have them
some
for
way.
life.
Yeah. So, and I can, like, on some level, I can connect with those parents because just a normal child is a headache, but throw nonverbal and non-communicative or a syndrome or a medical situation or whatever.
Right.
So you go, oh my God. But then you go, well, fuck, man. Like, even I look at my kid, and even if he were warped in some way that made my life revolve around him, I still couldn't be like, I'd be better off with you murdered.
Right.
Because, like, how could you? But I'm not Justin.
Just like in a normal relationship, you know, we've been married for we've been married for 8 years. Had our ups and downs like everybody else, but you know, I think we have a pretty strong relationship. Which we're about to find out if that's true.
Well, I need 6 people on the side.
That's why we're about to find out if that's true. That's the real test of a marriage. If you can
Yeah.
kill your child, will it survive? Cool outlook, Justin. Be like, hey, you know what?
This kind of reminds me of Letitia
These
Stouch.
Yeah, it does feel like everything just sort of minimized to the billionth degree to be like, oh, you know what? You know, we've had our ups and downs, but I've never killed a kid before.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. High five, right? Remember when I was like, if English is my first language, I'm doing good? Dad jokes? Dude, you fucking killed your kid.
It's gonna be your first child, Cooper is our first and only child.
Gosh darn it.
Shoot, man.
Shucks, man. Ah.
0 tears. Like you wouldn't even be able to talk to me at this point if that was something
Right,
that
like,
happened.
Isn't this just the face of pure, raw, like harsh reality emotion just washing over a Pillsbury Doughboy in a Beatles wig? All right. Whew, man. You guys almost saw me lose it.
I am on the verge.
Did one whoosah, I'm back at it.
How's Cooper doing developmentally? Fantastic. Can you talk? Yep. Knows my real name. I'm 2 years old.
My real name.
What does that mean? So talks, walks, walks.
It's a weird sticking point. Like, my kid doesn't know my real name, but why would he?
He
Like,
knows mine sometimes.
Maybe, well, right, but like that's a weird thing to bring up. Like, I don't care if he knows my real name or not because it doesn't matter. Like, hey, he knows my real name. Like that's
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
But like this thing, as a parent, you don't want, right? Like when Bart calls Homer, Homer hates it.
Yeah.
When the kid calls the dad, like he knows my real name, so he'd be like, "Hey, Justin."
What up?
Like what is the end goal of telling the detective that?
Right. And the only reason Elliot knows my name is because he sees my computer and it has my name. And so he'll say something like, "That's Mommy." I'm like, "Yeah." And look, that's my name and that's Matt. And like all the things. But like he would never.
Right. The price of participation may vary, but like, why would he be like, "No, it's not Daddy, it's Justin." Like,
Call me Justin.
It feels like in that moment, he's like, "No, it's Justin Cooper." Like, fuck.
Normal child.
The car seat you're using,
Yes.
What's up with that?
how do you put him in that car seat?
What do you mean?
Like facing forward, facing back, how do
It's a rear-facing car seat.
Okay. And that's the one running in this one used with him all the time?
Not all the time. We just switched. And I thought that could be one of the reasons too. She has a car seat in her car that's forward-facing. We used to. The way the
Yeah, you change the car seat, you forget you have a child. You know, we just bought Elliot some new shoes, and I go, "Do we have a kid?" We got home, and I was like, "What are all these toys in this room here?"
But
And then you ran over and like, "Oh, there he is. He's just wearing new shoes."
this doesn't make any sense. So I get she in her car has a front facing now, but you don't go from a front facing back to a rear facing car seat again because they'd be too old. So if he
Right,
still has the
whatever.
rear facing, there's no excuse.
It doesn't matter because it's all undone by the fact that he has a clear memory of the interchange of the kissing and the hugging and the high-fiving and the "I love you, Daddy" and "I love you, son," and all.
Right. And then he did that weird
Yeah.
U-turn and
Just remember, if we get in an accident and I die, that I told you I loved you. Whole fucking bullshit rigmarole.
Yeah.
Only to be like, "Oh yeah, he flipped 180 degrees." So I was like, "Doy, oy, 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 one and only son." Wait, what?
way the car seat works is there's a base. Right? You have children? And you know. Make sure there's a base. You remove.
Yeah, I found this really disgusting, as a matter of fact. But I'm not going to say that out loud until later. You got children? You ever cooked one in a car, detective? Oh, you fucker.
Move the car seat from the base, you put it back on. We had two bases, and so whenever we get in, we would just swap the car seat in and out. We just bought a new one that's forward-facing. It was in my car.
What has two thumbs and used to have a forward-facing car seat? This
This guy.
murderer.
And she was using the rear-facing car seat. She was going to Alabama for work. She was taking him. And I gave her the forward-facing car seat because it's more comfortable for him. And I put the rear-facing car seat in the car. And that was
Because I wanted him to suffer when he was with me.
2 weeks ago.
why?
2 weeks ago, when he mostly takes him to daycare, so he would. 2 weeks is definitely enough to adjust.
Not only that, he wasn't taking him to daycare then because she went and took him to
Don't
Alabama
read-
for work.
Don't read into his
Why would you do
story like at face value. He's a fucking murderer and a liar. Don't be like, "No, but he said."
No, I'm not. I'm saying it doesn't make any sense. Why would she take him to Alabama for work?
It doesn't, right? Because it's a bullshit story. He's a intentional murderer.
Can I use the restroom again?
Certainly may.
That water went right through me.
Oh my god. He is such. I don't. That's the thing. You only know what you know. I don't know what is going through the mind of idiots like this who. I mean, he must know, right? Like that. But that's the thing. There is such a wide swath of humans. You can go, is there such a human walking this planet that's so fucking stupid that they could remember literally every aspect of their life up until the clicking of a car seat to going to see a
Movie.
whatever Avatar. Like everything, perfect recall, total recall, if you will, right up until a convenient aspect may or may not come along. Because that's the thing. There may have been something most of the true crime channels that I follow, when they cover this case, don't go heavy into the other ladies. So maybe he was looking to step out permanently. I don't know. But that's the part that doesn't make any sense, is like there was nothing to gain or lose with this.
Step out permanently with his wife?
No, step out on his wife with one of the 5.
I got you.
So like with Chris Watts, he goes, I found a smoking hot lady, but I've got 3 girls and a wife. They've got to go.
Yeah, this is Justin Ross Harris, Melissa.
Yeah, this is the Georgia case. He left his kid.
22-month-old in a
We
car.
don't have to say allegedly anymore because he was convicted.
Yeah.
I would say he purposefully left his infant in a car to cook to death for reasons unknown.
Yeah, I saw like links of a possible retrials, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
And here's the thing. I want to say it's intentional because there are so many things to remind you that you will have a child. Like, we don't have to go over that again. But when it speaks to motive, it's like, what did he have to gain other than stepping out with one of the 5 ladies he was already stepping out
Right,
with?
and he didn't want to
permanently?
have the, yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, is he thinking he's smart enough that he can kill his son and wash it away as an accident and then sort of slip out of the marriage?
To not have to like pay child support?
Right, but then also look past the fact that the police would have to necessarily rip his life apart and find all the sex.
Right, especially with the young woman, young girl.
That's the thing. It's intentional minus. Like, he intentionally wanted to do it, but didn't realize
What would have the ramifications?
Right, like he did not conceptualize what he would have to do to cover his tracks. And since he thought that like fucking other women outside of his wife wouldn't enter, he's like, well, that's not germane. Like, they're not going to look at my phone for
Other ladies.
illicit. But here's the thing. The cops are going to look through your life, and
See it all.
if they find illegal shit, they'll go, hey, P.S., since we were looking for this other illegal stuff, we found this too.
Yeah.
So other charges need to be applied.
Well, and you mentioned before, like how his timeline, how he forgets, a chunk of time and then remembers again. He forgets like a chunk of 5 minutes from what it seems like.
Well, no,
Buckled the
because
kid in
you would-
and did the weird Yui, and then he went to work.
But you would have to just forget you have a son for a solid 8 hours. Because
right.
like during the day, something I guarantee would have he would have had a burp and like tasted a chicken biscuit and go like, oh yeah, I had, and then
Right.
A to B to C.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I get you. Yep.
Intentional.
Yes. Not intentional. No malicious
This
content.
is intentional. It's malicious fucking content. And they leave him alone. Let's get the fucking dudes back in here. He does more of his bullshit like, oh, I'm so sad. Like, look at him wander around.
Look at this whiteboard. It's a big whiteboard.
Like, they would have to deal with a metric ton of, like, wet, snotty, tear-stained tissues and vomit if this were me. And he's just like, oh, whoa, is that a true 90-degree angle in that corner? And he just wanders around like.
I wouldn't
that's
be
the-
able to drink water. Like,
That's the most damning part, is the fact that he's able to just like, if you looked at this footage, you'd be like, oh, this is a dude waiting for the papers to get signed for his new car.
yeah.
He'll
right.
be driving home like, given his like haircut and posture and face and dress, like
A Plymouth.
that don't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That he'd be like, it's time to drive home that Chrysler Town and Country or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you just pray to God there's no parents in the jury to watch you stare into the middle distance
With no
moments
emotion.
after you found your child that not only is dead, but you're responsible for. Like, that's the doubling down.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing to find a child of yours, again, with an accident or somebody else's interference. But the doubling down of, like, it is them, they have passed, and it was you. Just to be like, this
Derp.
dopey, derp face, bowl cut motherfucker right here. Guilty.
Yeah. Murder
these-
times 3.
Detectives back in here.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So you said you'll just kind of swap out, take her to the daycare program.
We do.
When you get to the daycare, what's kind of like the routine for this?
Throw him out the car.
Like, is it involved or is it something easily forgettable? My guess is, given the pattern, there's a lot of details that
Yeah.
you're going to be able to share with us right now.
Yep.
Justin?
So, getting to the daycare, I guess we park and do curbside or identical park, walking inside.
Take all of his bags and all of his stuff, which he probably had.
Real quick. Look at him like now dealing with the emotion. I take him inside and I mean sometimes when I'll have a pet die, it'll affect me because I feel responsible for another living thing. So like less than a dog, but more than a fish. I would expect this reaction. Like, you have a snake you had for 15 years, and you go, you know, Mr. Boa, I would expect this bullshit, like the handout and like the, and like regaining composure in one breath.
Yeah.
A favorite snake, a rabbit, a dog maybe you weren't specifically fond of. I can get like the, but like something that
You made?
specifically created and then were raising to be like the, all right, good to go, is sickening. Every fucking day, right?
But they
Only-
take turns.
Only takes one whoopsie daisy, right? The one day you forget to flush is the day your wife walks in and finds that huge deuce. Fucking idiot. And here's the okay. The problem with the pattern is twofold. It's not just that you remember it because you do it so often. It's that your higher brain function checks out. You will do things you do all the time because you have trained yourself to do them, and your higher brain function goes and does something else as
Yeah.
you drive to work,
Right.
take your kids to daycare, whatever. So to go like, that's just the thing. So it's not just memory, but like your higher brain function would, because like who hasn't at some point or other picked up a personal telephone line and answered it like you were at work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've driven to work. Like, when I used to drive to work, I
You go on autopilot.
don't remember doing half of it half
Exactly.
the time.
And that's the thing. So it would be,
Distractions, like, yeah.
well, the thing is, like, he should have just slotted into here we go again. And, like, it would be more outstanding for him to show up at the daycare on a day that he wasn't scheduled
Yes.
than to not show up when he was.
Yes.
Right, exactly, Melissa. You don't, people don't forget their phones and they aren't alive. And your kids are constantly on your ass. You can't forget them.
Right.
It's impossible. It's bullshit. Intentional.
I take him to a drum and I drop him off. If it's before a certain time, if it's before 8:30, I'll take him straight to daycare from the house instead of when we get breakfast. Because they have an 8:30 cutoff
Oh, so that's weird. So you knew, like you made a cognitive appraisal of the situation that day that you killed your son and said, we have time for Chick-fil-A. It's odd that you would wake up, do all that thing, make that decision, have the breakfast, and then as soon as you buckle him in, kiss him, high five him, sign his autograph book and say, I'll never kill you, Cooper, and kiss him on the forehead, and again say, I'll never murder you. You then go on to murder him that day.
Right. Yeah, they went to Chick-fil-A, Melissa. That's
Yeah.
what they do every 2 to
Chick-fil-A.
3 months, supposedly.
2 to 3 times a month, not 2 or 3 months.
Oh, sorry.
Daddy, son, it's bullshit.
Still, that's not very often.
Not really. But he takes him to daycare every fucking day.
You said breakfast at the daycare 4:30? Okay. So I don't feed him there. So
Yeah, doesn't his voice match his like, like? Yes. Yes. Good one, Justin. Fucking nailing it. I can't. With hindsight, with the benefit of hindsight, you go, how did he even get convicted? He comes across as such an innocent asswipe.
2 or 3 times a month, man, him will go.
2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah.
Normally, does he eat breakfast? Do you ever eat it at the house, or does it always eat at the daycare? If we eat at the house, it's pretty rare. He did one time. It's best.
So here's the thing. This story makes no sense and for no fucking reason. Like it doesn't feel like there's an ulterior motive here. So if he says we eat at Chick-fil-A 2 or 3 times a month, but we rarely eat at home. I would say 2 or 3 times at Chick-fil-A a month is rare. And if you rarely eat at home, what the fuck?
Yeah, because they
Right?
have daycare. They have breakfast at daycare. He just said their cutoff for breakfast at daycare is 8:30.
Oh, by mistake. So, but still, like,
So they would probably take him there
Right.
early enough to have breakfast there.
doesn't this
'Cause they pay
feel
for
like more minarets, frosting minarets on this cake of like, I fucking did this on purpose? Like to be like, hey, and just to double down, like not only that, I knew that we missed breakfast. That's why we stopped. So when I kissed him and I was like, good thing we're late. I love you and high five. And just in case I die,
My name's Justin.
my name is Justin. You know that.
I can't believe it. He still ate breakfast at daycare, even though we got there about 8:45, 9 o'clock.
Which,
Typical.
oh, okay.
This week, at home, in our bed with us, everyone watched cartoons together.
Typically breakfast in bed if we have breakfast.
That's 8:30. Did they just let him go ahead and eat it for you that way? Yeah, they had extra leftover, and there was a kid still eating, so they let him. Okay. He went and sat down at the table like he wanted to eat some more, so they did. Okay. So,
Great story.
how long do I get to work? Anywhere between 8:45 and 9:30. 8:45. So there's no set time? I don't have a time.
Oh, he's salary. We've been through this already.
I don't have a time I have to leave. Okay. So is your salary then? Just saying. Okay.
That's what makes this interrogation feel like semi. I don't even know how to describe it because, as you can see, since Justin doesn't feel like he's committed a crime, there is no reason to build a rapport.
Right.
He's answered every question immediately, no matter how bad it makes him look, because he just doesn't give a fuck. So the rapport building of like, okay, phone number, this, that, and the other does feel, in this case alone, probably a little like, well, what the fuck? Because he's just going to be lying through his ass the whole time.
Yeah.
And or if you're wanting to be ultra generous, he's so stupid he killed his kid because he has no intelligence, despite being employed full time.
And has
And
a
getting a
college
college degree.
in like management something.
So
I don't
you would
remember what he
have to
said.
be extremely wealthy with your appraisal of his intelligence and adeptitude.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe he is super wealthy. That's why he's got 5
He's a fucking
people.
listen. If working with my last, like my last job as an electrician taught me nothing, it's that anyone can find a bunch of people to fuck. It's
yeah,
not hard.
I guess.
Justin here can pull down tail because it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be good looking. He just has to wait. And he looks like he's got the time considering he's kept the bowl cut 20 years beyond when it's appropriate.
Yep.
You guys go to Chick-fil-A? We haven't been this month, but we usually go we've been quite a few times. The people in Chick-fil-A, they know us.
Right. That's something that's like, it feels unintentionally stupid and incriminating where you go, I'm only there 2 or 3 times a month, but we're there so much that they know your name. Like if I go someplace 2 or 3 times a month, they're not going to know my name or my order.
No,
But look
you're
at how
right.
fat Justin is. That's why it feels like it's
But he goes there all the time, he
right,
says.
but it's whatever. It's just more of this story that doesn't make sense and like not because in most interrogations you go they're lying because they want to hide something. This feels like either revisionist history where he's just an idiot and doesn't understand the situation, or he's lying for a reason that only he knows the reason for. And you go, why did you say that, Justin? And he goes,
Why?
Why, Justin?
He should have been locked on that haircut alone.
Seriously. I mean, he's fucking like Chris Chan at least doesn't have a bowl cut, or at least
Yeah.
back in the day.
Right.
didn't.
Did you plan ahead of time where we're going to go to Chick-fil-A tomorrow, or was it just kind of like, hey, I'm running a little bit late, we're going to miss the 8:30 breakfast, let's go to Chick-fil-A? It's usually around then, like this morning we woke up and I knew that we were going to be leaving late.
I knew.
You woke up at 8:30.
Feeding at the house, which I've done before in the past. That's not a problem.
You know, sometimes I feed him at the house. That's not a problem.
He
I have
can
a
eat.
kid. Sometimes he's hungry. I feed him at the house. Not a problem. That's how I describe feeding my child. You know, sometimes he's here at the house. He's hungry. I go, hey, not a problem. You're here. You live with me.
You're here, your family.
You know what? Yeah, it's like Olive Garden in my house. I give him some breadsticks.
But go ahead, get him dressed, let's have our Chick-fil-A day.
I say to my 22-month-old, hey,
Yeah.
let's have our
And
Chick-fil-A
he's like,
day
all right,
today."
Justin.
And he goes, because he has no concept of English yet. How could he? He's 22 months old.
We're still counting him by months, so
I don't want to make light of this because it is a very tragic situation. But
Yes.
the fact that Justin is so fucking stupid, it's impossible not to point out the fucking bald-faced absurdities in this situation. That's the only, like, it's so dark, it's hilariously stupid.
yep. Yeah.
It's organic. It's one of the few things that me and him have together that we do as a day.
Oh, so you're going to double down on, like, knowing specifically that, like, when this happens,
This is what we do.
your pattern is you got to take him to fucking daycare.
Yeah. Because where else are you going to take him?
As far as the tree you're going to be late, he woke up pretty early, and
That's how I would start with my alibi. How'd you know you're going to be late? Well, he woke up pretty early, so I...
Didn't get up till 8:30.
What? Did you understand the question, Dustin? Sorry, Justin.
it's roughly 5:15, so I got him and then went in our bed, and he
Got up at 5:15 and missed the 8:30 cutoff for breakfast. Whoopsie daisy, 3.5 hours, just not enough time to get Justin here into fucking gear.
finally went back to sleep, so I took him into his room and let him sleep a little longer than he normally does. And
Because, you know, he's got such a demanding job.
he was, my wife was leaving early. She left at 7:15, and if I don't start getting ready by 7:45, I know I'm gonna be late. But like I had to.
That's not what you said before. You said my wife
Right.
and I slept together, got up about 8:30.
His lies don't make sense from any aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
The story changes, and it's not because the detectives go, well, we have evidence of blank. He's just...
Not remembering the
Here's
lie
the-
that he said.
It might be like a you can't say secret genius because he was convicted of murder, but like he might have thought it's like super double negative smart to be like constantly change your story. But I don't know, man. It feels like trying to play 4D chess with someone who can't even understand Connect 4.
I laid out what I was going to wear. Put him in his room and let him play with his toys.
I let him.
Put him in his room and let him play with his toys.
That's when he gets choked up.
Yep. Playing with toys.
Play with those Duplo blocks. Yeah, that's
the time.
That's the part where I would cry. Like if I left my son to cook alive in an automobile over the course of 8 hours, that's when I would get choked up when he was, or rather not he, when I was recalling like.
Getting dressed and.
No, like Lightning McQueen or Mater.
Yeah.
Be like, Mater? Piece of shit.
Somebody that's watching some cartoons that make play for him. By the time I got home in the morning,
It's also annoying to me that parents don't know their kids' cartoons. When I was a kid, I was like, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, how do you know my fucking cartoon choices? I only choose a few. What's up with that? Now, as a parent, it's super easy. My kid likes Paw Patrol, occasionally Peppa Pig. I know everything he likes.
Yeah.
It's not even hard.
It's just annoying.
Not. You just know it. So that all these parents go, you know, they watch cartoons, but they can never pull like a name.
The cartoons that he
It's
watches.
so crazy to me that like products with a name check, like Mountain Dew or Stag Chili or whatever, like that happens in the murder. Like, oh, I was using Glad trash bags. But they go, well, my kids like cartoons. Again, with a 13-year-old that was left in the back of the car. The mom, when she was informed she was on camera in the interrogation room, goes, she should be watching cartoons. Idiots say that. People who know and love their children go, they would be watching XYZ show.
You're right.
Then they go, they loved
Teen
the
Titans.
concept of cartoons.
Right.
Yeah, my kid loves Teen Titans. I wouldn't go, he loves his cartoons. Because he doesn't like Garfield and Friends. Sadly.
It's debatable. He's been watching it on his tablet.
But it's the new one.
It's the new one.
It's bad.
let's go ahead and get breakfast together.
Let's go ahead.
Let's make that today.
So you went out of your way to be like, yeah, Cooper, and you threw your hands in the air. Let's get breakfast together. Again, another nail in the coffin that's made out of nails.
Because my wife had to leave for work
Right.
early and she was gone.
To make this a noteworthy and memorable occasion. At this point, it's like it's a detective watching a man trying to hammer iron nails into an iron coffin made of nails. Yeah, I hope if I ever accidentally kill someone, accidentally, Justin, like in a moment of silence, I'm able to hammer out a quick merengue beat. Be like, yep, tragic. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
What time's your wife go to work? It's up in the air. She's hourly kind of, I don't know if she's actually hourly, but
It's the exact opposite of what I said.
She's salary, but she's actually hourly.
where she's going to be, what time the patients are going to come in, because she actually talks with the patients.
Oh, she talks with him. Whoa.
To dialysis in home, or she works on facility there, so. And then so she has no real schedule in the morning then.
She goes to a facility?
Yeah, so she's a dietitian and travels to facilities to give patients their diet like nutritional information to people with dialysis. And she has to go based on when the patient comes in for their dialysis treatments. From what I'm getting.
We just kind of feel bad down this morning, so she doesn't really know.
Did he just not want the responsibility of having a kid anymore?
That's what it sort of seems like, right? Because you don't... It wasn't for insurance, because it wasn't like he could... There's never any mention of like that Gerber $20,000 whatever.
10 grand for a 22-month-old.
I get like the killing of a wife for the insurance, and it's not... At least personally, with my experience in this case, I never saw, heard, or experienced any real reason for it. It feels intentional because it just does. If you have a kid, you know. But that's the thing. It's impossible. He's never said definitively, and there's no money. It doesn't feel like he was going to step out permanently because at the end he talks about wanting kids, but just that's why I'm saying, like, I want your opinion on this, because if you feel in your gut definitively that this was malicious intent over just like crippling stupidity, I would like to feel it. But like, it just, even though part of me goes like, there are people out there stupid enough to do this shit, there's enough evidence here to illustrate that I do not believe that Justin is that stupid. Personally, if you believe he's stupid enough, you might, but to me, it feels like he's smart enough and there was intention. For what reason, I do not know. Because again, it's not as cut and dry as Chris Watts, right? Where like because I've seen some he's making the rounds again on social media and YouTube for whatever reason. So for the first time I saw his, whatever you want to call her, the person he was stepping on his wife on. And, not bad, but also she didn't have 3 kids like his wife did, like Shanann did. So, I don't know. He just feels like an ultra scumbag who didn't. But that's the thing about Justin is like he was doing it already.
Right. So
it doesn't
changing?
feel like anyone was like the 15-year-old wasn't like, no, you got to kill your family so you can go to prom with me.
Right.
I'm dying.
Believe me. 2 years.
Just to reiterate what just happened now, like, hey, how long you been at the job? Oh, man, I'm dying here. Yeah, my condolences. So anyway, 2 years?
2 years.
I'm dying here. I've never been in a position where I would willingly say I'm dying here, only to be dismissed and to continue with the interaction.
Yeah. Nicole Kessinger? Was that Chris Watts' lady? I don't know who that is.
Maybe Nicole Kessinger feels. Maybe I'm thinking of a different case, but yeah, because I'm not super familiar with her name. So you may be right, Melissa, rather not Nicole. Yeah, I'm thinking of Kepler. So yeah, maybe, but yeah, like that's the thing. She looked. I mean, whatever. Like, if I were Chris Watts and an idiot and had 3 kids and realized that I had signed a contract for a thing I didn't actually want, like, she would like, if I had a lizard brain, I would go, yeah, I'm willing to throw away the life of my 2 daughters plus the unborn child and my wife for someone who's got a hot body and may for the next 5 to 8 years.
She's all right. I looked her up.
Right. But that's the thing, like
Oh my God, he's wearing the same shirt that you have.
Whoa.
You own that shirt.
It's just a baseball?
It's that gray, it's a 3/4 sleeved. Yeah.
Right. That's not super specific.
No,
so don't be like, you own a murderer
It was weird.
shirt.
It was weird seeing it.
It's just a 3/4 sleeve baseball tee.
Yeah, that's it. So many pictures of her kissing. Of him kissing her right temple. That's it. It's just a temple
He's
shot.
An idiot. He reminds me of every soldier ant, worker bee idiot. I'm related to one very closely. And he's just one of those idiots who's like, wasn't gifted any artistic or creative aspects. They just go, well, I bet I could do this, or I don't know. It's there's no nuance to a Chris Watts.
Right.
It was just like,
Yeah.
I'll just try killing them.
The end.
That's what Justin did, except he was like, I'll try killing my son and being stupid.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No.
She was pregnant when I started, so it was at birth. She knew anybody FMLA or anything like that, right? She did. Okay.
We have been taking our kid to daycare since he was born. But I forgot one day.
Right. It's easy to just disregard a 22-month habit.
Yeah.
Old habits die easy. You know that old saying?
Mm-hmm.
So from about 6 weeks, he was at the same daycare.
I would take it in the Chick-fil-A 2 or 3 times at once since he was 6 weeks old.
Yeah. He knows his fucking name.
Like a key card, you type in his name. I typed in wrong. I did wrong. I didn't forgive me. His name pops up. This is the name. It's how it's done. What's your rating? J-U-H-A-R.
Like, oh, man. I don't even know how to liken this, because it's like, hey, man, how do you build a birdhouse? That's the first question out of their mouths. And they go, and Justin goes, no clue. But then every question after that is aspects of building a birdhouse, but they don't use the word birdhouse. Mm-hmm. They say, hey, say you want a feeder for an avian animal and you need to erect a structure. How would you do it? And then you go to describe that thing.
Yes.
What? God damn it, Justin. You can't know exactly how to do something and then say you absolutely forgot every aspect of it. Basically, you know what I mean?
The fact that his ID for the daycare is under him.
Right, and the fact that he knows it, by heart,
Right.
is the insane part. Because you go, well, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Not to say that it's like weird shit can happen, but again, it's like if your job was to, like, maybe you make clocks, and every day you come in, and at the end of your shift, from nothing, you have a cuckoo clock, and your boss goes, radical. But one day, like 20 minutes into your shift, you just stop working, walk over to the break room, and drink coffee for 7 hours and 10 minutes. Then you come back and there's no clock, and your boss goes, what the fuck? And you go, well, I just forgot how to do it. And you've been doing it for 22 months, solid, day in, day out.
Mm-hmm.
No fuck ups up until that point. Here's the thing. To legitimately build up like a pattern of like, well, you can see by my actions, I'd been slowly building fuck ups up until this culminated. You would, if Justin were smart and intentional, he would have had to do that. He would go, well, I forgot about daycare this day. I did this day, and slowly show an escalation of neglect due to whatever bullshit reason.
Exhaustion.
Right. Exhaustion, distraction, domestic issues, yada,
Right.
yada, yada. So, like, I needed help, but I couldn't find it. And so this was a natural escalation.
Right.
Viable to the average pleb on a jury. To go from, like, every day, here's his ID, we would do this at this time, and I wake up, blah, blah, blah. And then just one day be like, then he died.
Oops.
What? Just like, and that's the end of the story. Like, this happened and so on and so forth for such and such time. And then one day, the kid died. The end.
Yeah.
Fact or fiction, it feels like bullshit, right?
Yes, 100%.
Alright, I gotta ask you some personal questions now, and I understand the heart here. Was this the first time this has happened? Yeah. Has this ever happened to your wife before? No. It's never happened to you. You ever hung down on a car or he's in this car seat? No. Okay. How long have you been using that car seat?
2 weeks. He said it earlier.
How long has it been since we switched car seats, or how long have we had that car seat?
I mean, wouldn't they both be the same answer? Because when you got it, you would have switched it, I would imagine, right? Unless like a few days overlapped. But like, pull your head out of your ass, dude. Fuck, man, it's just so frustrating. The fact that these detectives can sit here and not strangle him.
Yeah. Elliot Stabler would not be able to sit there.
Like the fact these guys can just sit here and ask innocuous questions and listen to this man's flabbergastingly, insultingly sparse answers to be like, whoopsie daisy, or like just give a whole like,
Yeah.
I don't know gesture is beyond me.
We've had that car seat since he was born, and I've been using that car seat. I used that car seat for as long as he was alive.
Dude, you gotta stop putting nails in this coffin, right?
Yep.
Up until about 6 weeks ago, we bought a new one. Put the new one in my car. Then we
Earlier was 2 weeks.
swapped out 2 weeks ago.
No.
So she could put him in the new one.
He had the front facing for a month. They swapped it out to put the front facing in her car so she could take it to Alabama with her. And then they put the rear facing back in the car and hadn't switched it yet.
Guilty.
Yes.
Jesus.
Have you taken them to daycare since?
Tons. I was
Never
familiar
Chick-fil-A,
with
though.
the pattern, as if you have kids, you're familiar with patterns, right? I want you to believe that I am fully aware of being a parent. However, I just fucking forgot for 8 hours and 37 minutes, essentially.
Yeah.
No.
You guys said you had a good relationship. How's mommy?
Mommy's fine. Okay. Student loan.
What?
Student loans.
Student loans and but then we have this.
I mean, we cut corners everywhere I can. Look at my haircut. Hello, we're saving money. I'm wearing a Chris Chan polo and I will have a bowl cut in 2014.
Student loans, small credit card, which makes $4,000, which just recently happened. And our cars, pretty fast anything with a near perfect credit over 720 each of us. So
That wouldn't be far from my mind if someone close to me died. I would go, at least I've got a really good credit score.
Near perfect credit of 720, which goes up to 850.
Classic.
use a credit card to
I have near perfect GPA of a B minus.
groceries and fill up your own miles, which is working great, by the way. And we just kind of
Hey, our freaking flyer miles, they're racking up like fucking gangbusters.
Yeah, we can go to Puerto Rico.
As soon as we get this dead kid all hashed out, I'm going to take the wife to Fiji. Fuck you, Justin.
tracking system when we use the card, when we transfer money out the checking accounts, it kind of counterbalance it, just kind of get out of here a little bit of, nothing out of the ordinary, but
Great story.
substantial salary.
Cool stuff.
For us, it's 6,000, we can say it's 4,000 credit card. Something we're going to take care of like as soon as possible. And then just call Eva and say, she's our other one since we're planning a cruise. Oh no, but we're excited to take them.
Was Cooper planned? Was he a planned pregnancy? Or we were one of those like, oh, no,
Well, we were trying, but
And again, like, that's the thing. Like, it would be one thing if, like, there were no issues, but since it took a year, that again feels like you would throw a little extra fucking care into that shit. Like, it's one thing if you were gifted a pre-built model airplane, right? Or if someone gives you the kit and it takes you 7 or 8 or 9 months to finish it. Hello? Whatever.
Just on my birthday. Oh, she's pregnant. How's it at the house? It's happy. It's playful. He's very, very, very smart. Very smart. Loves to play with us.
He knows my name.
Loves to live with us.
We're on a first name basis. Yeah.
Loves to play with cars. Loves cars. Loves
I fucking hate this dude.
Disney cars. Loves it. But yeah, I came on TV Friday, I recorded it for him. I didn't even know it was coming. I didn't even.
I mean, DVDs exist, Justin. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I realized that he was on the Disney Channel on Friday when it was coming on. I was just going to record it and then we would watch it later. And while I was making dinner, it came on. And he went and crawled on the couch. Just started to stare at the TV. He loves it. Loves it. Wait, earlier you said that.
Okay, so I think it finally hit me. Looking at Justin from this angle, he's very Romulan.
Yes. Yes.
Like, that's Star Trek is a culture that has very, or rather, Star Trek is a property that has cultures that have never progressed, and he's very Romulan.
Yep.
One of the things you guys did together was go to Chick-fil-A. Right, that's just me and him here. That was our thing. Usually, like, if we
So it's noteworthy.
we'll go to somehow, we'll go hiking, and we'll visit the pool together. And I like to take him out. I like to take him out. He's a very active child.
It's so bizarre to me at which points, like, these types of people decide emotion is a necessary component. Because every time he, like, gets choked up, you know, in whatever capacity, however small, it's always at, like he loves cars. Like, it's always stuff that is not his son that he gets choked up about. He goes, you know what? It's never like what he does or what he is or like the concept of his son himself. It's like, he loves cars. We were going to Chick-fil-A. Like, we just changed car seats. He's like, like, it would be like getting upset over one of your children's onesies
Right.
instead of your actual child.
Right. The kid didn't say anything to him when he was getting out of the car. Well, here's the thing. He said he falls asleep real quick when he gets in the car.
Bullshit, number one. Number two, he's only 22 months. And even though he says they're on a first name basis, 22 months is still a little early to have, like, cognitive. Because, like, when we get out of the car with my son, obviously now he's in the know. But, like, from 1 to 3, it was just like looking
Where are
around,
we?
like, totally fine with it.
Yeah.
How'd you pay for Chick-fil-A? Where'd you pay?
Great question. Yeah, I would immediately after my son died in my hands, I would go. I go to the branch of Wells Fargo
Their home branch.
on.
You're just sitting here.
I realize I say that I'm absolute loss. However, I've been talking for an hour. So again, it's like, what?
Why do you think it happened? How can you just, explain to me how this happened? How do you think this happened? There are occasions where in the morning after I drop them off, I'll go to Chick-fil-A because it's on the way. And all those times I'll always get to the drive-thru and never go inside by myself. And I'll leave Chick-fil-A.
Then how does he know your name? This is again going against like the manager knows my
The
name and his
bald
name.
guy.
But 2-3 times a month is not enough to make a relationship like that happen.
No.
And when I turn out Chick-fil-A, I'll turn on the car, take the U-turn.
Cumbies.
And I don't
Right, so there's another delineating factor.
Yeah, he goes to
when
the
your son
drive-thru.
is not with you, you go drive-through. When he is, it's in restaurant, and then you have to go through the rigmarole.
Of the manager and the name and
Stop handing us nails, Justin. But the detective is like, oh boy, another box.
oh boy.
Oh boy.
So we're doing today. So just go to work. So I never think of the car by myself. And I just watched the news reports. There was a news report of a guy who did this, just like me. And now he's an advocate for when you park, you turn around and look at you.
Don't, like, it's like the TCAP stuff where, like, hey, I watch news programs where dudes come to meet children.
I'm not like that though.
I am not like that. However, I am on one of those right now. So it's like, what's your defense?
I'm going to show you how hard I can get in the car. And you think you can just leave your pets in the car when your windows down. You can't do that. I watched that. I mean, that'd be terrible. If my son was in the car, I would hate that. When I was working for Tuscaloosa Police, we had a canine officer. And he was
Again, this is more evidence to prove the intentional aspect. Because if you are going to say, well, I saw it on TV, I saw it on YouTube, and I was also trained specifically in the Tuscaloosa Police, doesn't that mean that you would have to overlook 3 different occasions for prolonged periods where you were told not to do this and then did it?
Yes.
I was looking for 10 minutes. Dog being exhaustion immediately. Had the windows up. Black Suburban. So that happened. So I'm aware. I just can't believe.
Right, you guys? So just fucking give me the mulligan. Well, give me a
Pound it. Let
and
me go
we'll-
home.
Chill, dude. Fuck. Real rough day I'm having.
Where's the car seat in your car? I haven't seen the It's in the middle. It's in the middle? It's in the middle. What do you take to work with you? My bag. What kind of bag is it? It's just over the shoulder. Alright, top bag.
Doesn't matter.
I'll put it in the front seat next to you. So I guess I should put in the back seat every time. Was that in the front seat today? Yeah. You took it into work with you? I did.
It's got my bowl cut cream, my USB drive.
The car seat that you have there currently is one of those that has the base, locks it up. Okay. You only had 2 of those? Yeah. There were 2 bases. I wouldn't use the other one. Because she's got a good backup seat. So what do you do with it when he's not in it? Well, I need it to her. We have no reason to remove it. So you put it, you get it in the back seat, you put it in there. And then I get in and I get him out. How does he fit in that car seat? It's a little bit bigger than the car seat. It's a Kiko Key-Fit 30, so it's up to 30 pounds. And he is roughly 22, 23. So we were aware of using the car seat up in
I don't know what's worse, when a person who is like a person of interest talks about someone in the past tense because they killed them and they know, or someone who knows they killed someone who talks about them in the present tense because they don't want to admit they killed them. Both of them are disgusting for different reasons.
Yeah, I think like in certain instances talking like him, like he's doing now, like talking as if he was still
is
alive,
23 pounds. Like,
is more for some people like a shock thing.
God, like, it's just beyond the pale at this point.
Because he's even for almost 10, he's still he's a little big for his age. So based on everything that we've read, regarding the safety of a rear-facing car seat with an almost 2-year-old, we deem that that would still
Not only watched things, but he read shit.
adequately safe, given his weight, his height. And we did measurements to make sure that the shoulders were properly placed in the harness and the front was fine.
Again, so why did you forget him? All this pre-planning, all the forethought, like that forethought begets memory.
Yeah.
How did you forget all of that? Literally all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were comfortable still using the car seat based on the information that we were given. For college? Well, for, you say, she works in Alabama once a month. She works at, she does a side job as a dietitian for a nursing home in Marion, Alabama. If you haven't heard of it, that's right. She took, it swaps between my mom. Charge your cell phone now. Okay. What's the code? There's a code on it.
Oh, hey, yeah, there is a code. I know you started saying a number and then said there wasn't,
0.
but we plugged it in and pretty rapidly it took a charge. So what is that shit, Justin? Oh, it's my anniversary.
Yep.
Oh, so it's an it's something you would easily remember.
Oh man.
I mean, especially if you input the code. You fucking idiot. It's biometric.
0527.
Oh, it did start with 0. Weird.
Yeah. May 27th.
Hold on. Yeah.
Let's look at it. I'm going to talk to your wife. I'm going to have you sit back here in the cell. Okay. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to put you in the cell back here. Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Have a seat back there.
For what?
No, you're not free to leave. Okay. After everything I'm seeing, you're going to be charged. Okay. So,
With what, sir?
right now, I'm holding a child. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm not
Okay.
information. It's information based off that your son was in the car all day long. Okay.
Huh.
And that's what
So wait, based on my negligence, you can charge me for said negligence? Fuck.
we're, we're supposed to be getting an investigation, okay? So, I got a lot of other stuff I need to look at. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you have a seat here. I'm going to talk to your wife, and then I'll make my final determination, okay? Okay. Good. Before I do that, I just use the street. There's a
I literally have to pee for the third time in an hour and 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
What?
Anything you want to add? Completely unintentional.
No malicious content.
Classic Sarah. This is Sarah Boone before Sarah Boone.
Yep.
Like, yeah, anything you want to tag this at the end with? You show no emotion, no remorse, literally no connection to the child you killed. Anything you want to tag this with? Unintentional.
This is not intentional.
Yeah, fucking cool, Justin. All right, stand up, turn around.
Yeah,
let me
let's go
see
to the
your fucking-
bathroom.
Just like Cyrax, not to bring up lol cows, but it's been a long time. Like, it's where Cyrax is like, I am not a PDF file because I've, called the police. I have no record. Right. But, like, there's evidence of you talking to children, not necessarily by the police. So there's Cyrax. And Justin, your kid is dead because you left him in a car. What charge would have prevented that? Like, hey, check my record. So if like they checked your record and they found literally anything, would they go, oh, whoa, we found something. Guilty. So it looks like
We're not going to see
we're
the
not going to
wife.
get the wife. Because I think what happened was he was pulled from there into a cell. And now that memory is coming back, he was probably in like prison scrubs.
Yeah, and she came in and was like,
Yeah,
"Oh."
she comes in and like lays on his lap, and they do that whole whispering thing where she's like, I want a big family and all this other crazy bullshit. But like, I mean, roles reversed. Like, let's say you killed our kid, again, removed from all sources of reality. I can see myself in no way like going into that windowless interrogation room, throwing myself in your lap and being like, I'm pretty sure it was an accident. We can always have more.
Yeah, no.
What?
No.
No. And that's the thing that sort of lends credence to his case, because she is so checked out emotionally and or stupid to be like, we'll keep going. Like, this was a big old whoopsie daisy,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh my
We got
gosh,
time to make more.
we'll call the first kid a mulligan, but I can squirt out more babies. That
Only you, Justin.
Right.
No more five ladies.
And she feels more stupid than heartless, where he feels slightly more heartless than stupid.
Yeah.
But again, I don't care what it is, heartless or stupid, go to jail. Too stupid to keep a kid alive, past 22 months, go to jail because you failed as a human.
Yeah.
Successfully. Like a successful failure is you reproduce and they can't make it. That proves you can't do it. Like the skills that you were passed degraded so much that you cannot pass them down.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. Anyway, that's all we got. So Justin Ross Harris went to jail. Glad for that. You would have to be as stupid as Justin wants you to believe him as to believe that he's innocent.
Yes.
That being said, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. We'll be back next Wednesday for more commercials or more vintage stuff or something along those lines. And we've got more.
I want to do that music thing.
Oh yeah, I gotta find out.
Suno. I've got it.
We'll figure it. More content to come. Thank you so much for showing up, Melissa, Tony, anybody else who was lurking.
Lurkers.
Or if you're watching this in the future, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time for more true crime.
This.
I'll find something that doesn't personally offend me next time, because I realize it's probably less than funny. Like Federico Gondola. I know he's like a whipping boy, but he's always there. Anyway, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Guys.
Or they try to.
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.